it's really taking a moment, as we started with, right? And figuring out the clarity and slowing down and really living your best life. Nobody else is without comparison. We can all get up in that comparison trap. In order to feel, though, the engagement, we do have to slow down. In order to feel joy, happiness is a choice. And in order to feel joy, it's really understanding what gives you joy, right? And being okay with it.
Welcome to the Women Choosing Growth podcast, where we bring you practical advice and guidance on how to grow your business and achieve success in your entrepreneurial journey. We feature inspiring stories of success, challenges of growth, and lessons learned from women entrepreneurs, industry experts, and thought leaders who have been through the growing pains inevitable as an entrepreneur. Whether you are just getting started or are looking to scale up your business, our show is designed to provide you with the tools, resources, and community you need to grow your business. Join your host, Tina, a lifelong entrepreneur and business growth advisor, as we explore topics such as marketing, sales, finance, leadership, and personal growth, all tailored specifically to the needs of women entrepreneurs. So if you're ready to grow your business faster and smarter, and learn from the experiences of those who have traveled the growth path before you, then this podcast is for you. Thanks for tuning in, and let's get started.
Welcome back, ladies, to another episode of Women Choosing Growth. I am your host, Tina Sue, and today we have with us Kim Rogne. She's a certified high-performance coach for women just like you who are doing all the things in life. She's also a best-selling author, speaker, and over 25 years in real estate. She is now really a guru in leadership and really guiding people, especially working moms and small business owners, in achieving balance, personal growth, and productivity. She's known for her actionable PRP model, which is all about potential, reality, and perception. And Kim provides clear strategies during our recording today to help you unlock your mindset superpower, thrive at work and at home, as a mom, as an aunt, as a whatever, as a business owner. Her journey also includes overcoming some traumatic accident that led her to launch her business at the age of 50. So she is dedicated to empowering others live their best life for the love of, and fill in the blank. So let's get started. Welcome back. I am excited to have with us Kim Rogne, founder of For the Love Of, where she empowers working moms and small business owners to create balance, achieve more, and discover their own For the Love Of. Kim is known and is sharing with us today her unique approach to personal growth and productivity while bringing clarity and actionable steps to those feeling overwhelmed by life's demands. Welcome to the show, Kim.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here, Tina. It's going to be a good one.
I am too. It is a perfect timing, after dealing with all the holidays, the start of a new year, when we're talking about personal growth, productivity, and dealing with being overwhelmed. I think it is perfect timing to have you share your expertise.
Yeah, beautiful.
Kim, before we dive into your actionable steps, because I know we have a lot of great stuff to cover today, you have a unique story about how you actually became this expert. Do you mind sharing of how this became about?
Yeah, for sure. So I come from a background of being in the real estate business for 25 years. But what had happened 3 years ago is I had a traumatic skiing accident, and I was out in Breckenridge with my groom of 27 years. That could be a whole nother podcast interview.
Right.
And one of my daughters, and I had fallen. And in normal, 18-year-old fashion, my daughter took a, Snapchat of myself, mom's down, and sent it to her sister and was like, hey, no big deal. Mom's down. She's always down, but mom wasn't getting up this time. And so we kind of joke about that Snapchat. But anyway, I ended up breaking my tibia, my fibia, and my ankle. And so I had to have surgery out there and left, good old Colorado with some, hardware in my leg, as we like to say, a rod and some screws and all of that. But really what had happened was, coming from the heels of being in broker management and running multi-million-dollar companies for the last 10 years, is it forced me to slow down. And I honestly was so used to living in constant chaos and just constant activity, constantly going, just running through life really without really thinking about what I was doing and solving problems, and really just feeling fulfilled by energy, if that makes sense. And so when I was forced to slow down, I thought to myself, and oh, by the way, I was knocking on the door of 50 and soon to be an empty nester. I really thought to myself, like, what do I really want for the second best half of my life? And so a few months after having some recovery and returning back to my position, I gave notice, and I didn't really know what I was going to do next, but I gave a 2-month notice and said, I'm going to be retiring from this CEO/broker management position, and I'm going to go start my own company, and I will figure it out. And so luckily I have a very supportive groom. And he was like, I know you will, honey. And so that's what started my company For the Love Of, which is a personal and professional development company where I'm a keynote speaker, a high performance coach, and also an author. So
awesome. Well, good thing you have the support system, because someone's like, I'm going to quit my job, which is, probably part of the household income. And just I'll figure it out, babe.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah. So I think there's more in there, right? Like, why did you pick this? You could have done anything. You could have done any business.
I love that question. I think, okay, so this is so funny. So this morning I was studying Ikigai. Have you ever heard of Ikigai before?
It's
spelled Ikigai, and it's a Japanese principle. And I didn't realize that this is what I did when I slowed down. But Ikigai is all about finding out, first of all, what do you love? What does the world need? What can you get paid for? And then what are you good at? And Ikigai is in the center of that. That's what Ikigai means. And so when I slowed down, I'm very growth-minded. I'm a learner. I'm always studying how I can better myself as a human. And I went and I took multiple assessments. Now, I had already taken DISC assessment. I'd already taken Strength Finders. I went out and I was like, I took this Dave Ramsey one. And then I went and was like, what's my Enneagram? And I was like, who am I and where am I going with my life? Maybe it was a mini midlife crisis. Who knows? Call it what it is. And I put all that material in a binder. And instead of being your normal rapid, I'm a very high D on the DISC profile. And instead of just scanning and just being like, oh yeah, that's who I am. That's who I am. I took time to really read it and take it in and kind of study without realizing what Ikigai is. Okay, what am I naturally good at, right? Where can I bring value? But at the same time, I did need to make money, Tina. Like we had 2 kids in college and we had a lifestyle that we built. And, before that, I was the main breadwinner, but I also came from a salary, and now I'm coming to like, good luck. Hope you can make some money. So there was some need there, but it really was the slowdown on who I am and some self-introspective time to figure out how I could take those skill sets that I had already learned and then bring them into, coaching. And so I did really start with coaching. So that was one. And then the second thing is I had actually somebody say to me, when I was on this 2 months of notice, in running these brokerages, somebody had come up to me and they had said, hey, Kim, what are you looking to do? And I had said, well, I think I might join a coaching company. Not really sure if I want to start my own business. And she said to me, you could start your own business. I'd hire you as a coach. And for some reason, her saying that to me gave permission to believe in myself. And that's when I was like, yeah, she's right. I'm going to go and start my own thing. And so that was kind of the journey that brought me to where I am today.
Did she become a client?
She did for a short period of time. So at the beginning, part of what I did to grow my business was I needed to coach every day. And so kind of like what I coach some of my real estate agents to, is like you have to be in real estate to actually sell real estate. And I thought, well, I'm going to pick 5 different people in different industries, and I'm going to coach them pro bono because I need to be coaching every day to be in the coaching mindset. And so, yes, she was one of my first clients that I pro bono coached for about 6 months.
Well, I love that. I mean, pro bono is, when she's the one who kind of gave you the permission
Right.
to start this. So I think that's really great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So your passion is really helping like the same type of people, which is basically everyone listening, right? Like high energy, they're running a business. They're like, they're women. So they may be a mom, or at least they have family of some extent that they're trying to manage. And it's a lot. We know that it's a lot. We're around the same age. So we've been in this for many, many years of this. Where does one begin? So I imagine people are listening and like, okay, I need to stop running the hamster wheel and get some real clarity, purpose, slow down, right?
Yeah.
So how do you help someone, because it's so easy just to keep running, especially
it is. And especially if you have littles, right? So mine are grown now, semi-adulting. They're still on our insurance plan.
Yeah, you and I have the same, like our early 20 kids that are like, well, are you really on your own? Because you know what I'm all paying for.
Right. But it's all a blessing, right? And so, yeah, you are correct. I do, work with high performance, anybody who's really looking to have that feeling of full engagement, joy, and consistently living their best life is what I say. And when we are working moms, if we think about going back to the phase of when you're at a phase when you have littles and you're trying to figure it all out and discover it, it's a very different conversation, right? It's a conversation of, okay, it's first of all accepting the stage of the life that you're in. And it's identifying, taking a moment to slow down and gain some clarity. I love that you use the term clarity on what it is that you want and what at this moment, and what are you capable of having? Because I get up at 5:15, 5:30, and I have time to journal and read for probably a good 2 hours. But somebody who has littles, that's not the same. And so it's first of all accepting that. And then 2, I think it's, understanding that we'll just stick with the subject of working entrepreneurial, high achieving moms, that your value and your worth is not in doing it all. And so many times I coach high achieving working moms, and it's like the world hasn't yet connected. We're all like proud to be like women proud and women can work and women can do it all, but we're sending the wrong message. Yes, we can, but at the same time, it takes a village, and your spouse can help you with things at home. You have to let go of some of the control and all of that. And so I think it's just really identifying where your energy levels are at, what are you capable right now in your life, and sometimes you have to put things on hold. Like me starting this business, I don't know if I could have done it 10 years ago. I don't know if I had the skill set yet. I don't know if I was in the right frame of mind, or even our household could have supported it. And so it's understanding that life is a journey, and along the way, every single phase, it can be better if you're willing to slow down a little bit, have some little introspective time, and understand that you don't have to do it alone.
I think what you're saying is, I'm just like reflecting on all the years too of my own journey, because I started when I was pregnant. So I definitely had the littles while trying to build a business, trying to do it all, I didn't hire people when I should have, because I'm like, I can add that to my plate, and so many women that I talk to are the same way, and thinking about like, well, I want to bring a profit, I want to bring some more money into the household. So I'll just do that task when that employee leaves, or before I hire that employee. And that's actually, when we talk about entrepreneurship, your business is actually worth more when it's not all on you. So this is permission to like go and take some things off your plate as the leader of the business, because you're actually doing yourself a favor in the long run.
Yeah, it's so true when you own your own business or you're solopreneur or whatever it is. I think that, and also we're in a world right now where we're inundated of what everybody's telling us what we should do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hear that a lot from my coaching clients. Well, I should do this. I should do that. And I'm like, well, should you? Should you?
Who says?
Yeah. Who says? Like, let's talk about you, your business goals, and the lifestyle, right? I'm talking a lot right now with my clients, and this is a little out of my comfort zone. So I used to be I used to feel as an entrepreneurial woman, it would, I don't know, I would be looked at as weak if I talked about feelings. And so I used to deny talking about feelings. I don't anymore, because I think that as high achievers, having a feeling of joy and engagement and confidence and all of those things are part of it. So I'm talking about, our goals, our numbers, or whatever, but I'm also talking about, how do you want to feel when you accomplish that, or when you're in the journey? And what lifestyle do you want to have? That's how you build a freedom-based business. It's also based on your lifestyle. And if we're truly coming from the mindset of abundance, we can have both. We can make really good money to support our family and live our dreams and be in our Ikigai, as I started with, and also have a lifestyle where you are at the kitchen table with your family at night. And so those are new conversations that I'm having, and I'm challenging a lot of my high drivers to do a little introspective. So they're not just walking around in this world in a fog.
Yes, and trying to do it all, as high achievers typically do. Yeah. If nothing else, this podcast is going to be permission for everyone listening.
Yes, permission.
Permission to say, don't should on me.
Yes, yes.
Because when people are telling you you should, like, who are these people, and why are they telling you what you can do? Even if it's a spouse or someone close to you, why are they making that decision? Yeah. So if someone says you should, just stop them and say, why are you shoulding on me? Right?
I'm learning to say no, right? And that's the whole clarity piece. It's really taking a moment to be clear in all the circles of your life, what you want in your life, all of them, your physical, your mental, your family, your spiritual, all of those, your business, your finances. It's like, what do you want? And sometimes we don't know, because we're not allowing ourselves, right? We're getting all up in our head, and we're judging, right? And so I love to just give the tactic, of all those areas in your life, and to just write it down without judgment, whatever comes into your head, right? Like, put it on a piece of paper. What do I want my physical life in 2025? My emotional, right? My family, my friends, my social circle, my mission work, right? What do I want? Finances, adventure, hobby, spirituality, and write it down. Put it down, because then you'll know what to say no to. If you don't slow down and write that down, you don't even know what to say no to. So that's the other thing I'm super passionate about.
Yeah, so it gives you the bumpers to say, like, oh, no, I've already made this plan for myself. I love to give the magic wand when I'm working with people. Like, sky's the limit. It's not about what you need in your household income. It's not about what your kids need in, detail right now. It's like, sky's the limit. What would life look like if you had no barriers? Write that down.
Yes.
Because then we can get close to it, right?
Yeah.
And then we're always shooting for that. Yeah. Magic wand. Because it is hard, especially for high achievers, to think beyond. And I've found for many women that it's hard to say, well, I want to make, large salaries, like bigger than what they've ever thought of, especially if they come from a family growing up that didn't have money. It's, well, I don't want to ask for that. I don't need that. It's like, this is the permission to say there are no limits. You write down what you want. If, even for your kids, if you want X, like, write it down, even if it's not available in your neighborhood. Right. So I love doing that, because you really get people to open up and think about what's really possible.
Yeah, really possible. And, the other thing I think about, because I do coach a lot of small business owners or 100% commissioners, right? Or solopreneurs, whatever you want to call them, 1099, they're not W-2. Sometimes I will coach, and I don't know if this is just women. I coach women and men, but I would say 75% of those that I coach are women. That is my specialty, working with, entrepreneurial working moms and women. And sometimes I'll also hear from women, well, I don't want it to be just about the money, right? Like, I don't want, especially if they're commission based or, own their own business. I don't want to come across as, a sleazy salesperson. It's really not just about the money, but it is about the money. It is about the money. My husband doesn't go to work and say, oh yes, I'm going to go and fight fires, but don't worry, it's not about the money. You don't need to pay me, right? Or brain surgeon doesn't say like, oh yeah, you can hire me. I'll take care of that for you. But you don't want to know what? You don't need to pay me. It's not about the money. And if we continue to tell ourselves that it's not about the money, then you're never going to make the money. Because I can tell you this right now, I want my business to make 5 times more because then I can give 5 times more. Like I have these big dreams of like, I would love, and if any of my clients are listening, I love to surprise. I love to surprise and delight in my business. I will love to surprise in my business. Anybody who's a coaching client of mine, December rolls around and I'm like, guess what? I have a gift for you. You don't have to pay me for December, or it's 50% off. Like I can't do that unless I make money.
Yep.
And that's the other piece to the puzzle that I'm starting to discover as I peel back the onion at what are working moms really feeling? What are they saying? What are they struggling with? What are their challenge? And that is one of them. The whole mindset around money is one of them as well.
It is. It is. And I think, like for me, one of my goals, because I take my own advice and I wrote down like, what do I really want for the second half, the good parts of my life now that I'm over the midway hump. And it really is about supporting other women. So one of my goals for 2025 is to invest in 2 more women-owned businesses that are in that growing mode that need help because, those women are in that spot where they're probably not big enough to get a normal bank loan or that, and so it's like, I'm at the point in my life because I was successful, am successful, and now I want to share that, right? So like money isn't about being greedy. Money is about being able to have the freedom. We used that word before, the freedom to do the things that we're really, really super passionate about. And so like, had I not been as successful or had the exits or work with the people that I work with, I wouldn't be able to be there helping other people in the future as well. So we don't think about being greedy. Yeah. It's about what can we do? That's where that goes back to that magic wand. If you say you want $200,000 salary a year, that'll help your family lifestyle. What could you do with double that? And that really opens up people's mind like, oh, well, I could take my kids traveling more to see the world and think about what that does for that generation. Like you said it too, like for some reason, some women have a hard time with thinking money is like, I don't know. It's something.
It means they get caught up in their head. It means they're not a good person. And then the person that they're serving, whether it's a service or a product that they sell, won't think that they care. Yeah. Right? Like, oh no, it's just about money. But the truth of the matter is if you are a jerk when you don't have money, you'll still be a jerk when you have money. If you're a good, kind person when you don't have money, you'll be even more of a kind person when you do.
Yes, exactly. So. Love it. Hey, incredible women entrepreneurs. It's Tina Sue here. I know you're juggling a lot, growing your business, managing family time, and trying to find balance. Deep down, you know you're capable of so much more, but maybe fear or uncertainty is holding you back from achieving that dream business, that dream life that you deserve. That's why I created the Dream Big, Plan Bigger guide, a game changer for your business growth. This isn't just another goal-setting document. It's your personal roadmap to achieving the impossible. Imagine having a clear vision of your biggest dreams, breaking through the barriers that hold you back, and reigniting that passion that fuels your journey. This guide is your roadmap to doing just that without compromising your family time or your personal priorities. You deserve to see your business thrive and still have time for what you love. Let's take this journey together. Download your free Dream Big, Plan Bigger workbook now at tina-sue.com and start making those dreams a reality. Now, let's get back to the show. I know you have an actual model that you like to work with clients. Do you want to tell us about the PRP model?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So I'll rewind a little bit and share how this came about. So what had happened when I started my business 2 years ago is I made a commitment on two things. Well, maybe three things. So one was
probably about 100. Probably made 100 commitments to yourself anyway.
But I'll give the three that were like, I'm going to really, truly commit to these. One was my word of the year that year was confidence. And so everything that I listened to or wanted to study was about how to build my confidence. The second thing was I hired a social media manager. And I was like, day one, I'm investing. And then the third thing was I was like, I'm going to do this journaling thing. So I'm going to do this thing because in order for me to really, really build this business, I have to be like deep down in my cells, my cores. I have to like my brain has to start with believing that I can build this business and make a difference. And so I used to like consistently journal and every year buy the new beautiful journal because I always like to say, who doesn't love the smell of new school supplies, right? Like I love,
My daughter says that about books. Like the smell of a book, Mom. I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Like a new notebook and it's not all wrinkly. And so I'd have these piles, right? And I've, tried the savers through Miracle Morning and Brendan Burchard's. And, we could go on and on at all the people that are like, here's your journaling, right? And so I was like, I'm going to do it. So for those that are watching, like I always have this to remind myself, this is what I started in. Like, I don't know, I got this at the dollar store, Target in the dollar section. And I literally journaled, I have here, January 3rd, 2023, I will let go of, I am grateful for, I will focus on. And then I wrote my word of the year, confidence. And I did this over and over again. And what had happened was I had a friend reach out to me, a really good friend who is battling ALS. And she had said, hey, Kim, I want to be held accountable to my mindset. And I'd like to create a new habit around this and do what's called a 66-day challenge. On average, studies show it takes 66 days to create a new habit. And I was like, great. I'm doing this weird journaling thing that they say will work. And so why don't we just send each other pictures? And so we started sending each other pictures of our journal entries every day to hold each other accountable, and so on. Well, my friend Cindy, like the way that she would send me pictures is she can no longer write or speak. And so she literally looks at an eye gaze. It's like an iPad and it types the words, and she would send me journal entries of, I will let go of, the disease that I'm battling. I'll let go of, having to be in control. I'm grateful for my spouse and him having to take care of me. I'm grateful for my feeding tube and just these life-changing, altering, ways of getting her mindset right to choose to live. And she is choosing to live, and going above and beyond at the studying of how she can take care of herself and choose to live to be there for her family and her son and her mom and all of that. And I started sharing her story and I started realizing, wow. So what PRP stands for is the perception, P is perception, that you have of yourself is ultimately your reality, the R, which equals your potential. And I discovered this through the journey with Cindy. I was like, here's somebody who's battling ALS and her perception of herself is, I am choosing to live. My reality is I am still living. Like she has blown the statistics out of the water. And her potential of her life, she's literally building it based on how she starts her morning and what she thinks about herself. And so I started sharing her story. And I started then having unsolicited, I would share the journal entries, which I stole from a podcast. I don't remember what it was from. They weren't even my own. I was just like, I'm just going to copy what somebody else is doing. And unsolicited, I would have people send me pictures of their journal entries. Unsolicited, I'm talking grown men in their 60s, right? Running big businesses. And finally, somebody said to me, hey, Kim, you should like create your own journal. Like, wouldn't that be super cool? And so to wrap up the long story short, that's what, For the Love of Self, my journal ended up coming from. I then made it my own, but then that's where the PRP model, which is part of my keynote presentation, which is how to reshape your perception really of yourself to reach your potential and how to unlock your mindset superpower. And so that's the behind story of it. And because I'm choosing to slow down and listen, I would have normally been like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, that's not on my business plan.
Yeah.
Like, what you talking
your own
about?
journal at the family.
Right? Yeah, like, figure it out. Just go get the $1 one. But because I'm choosing to slow down, listen, and live in my Ikigai, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this because I think it will really make a difference. And now it's what I speak about. It's what I coach to. And it's just been a really fun journey to also study. Right now I'm studying neuroscience and our brains and how they work and all of that. So thank you for asking.
I love that. And I know we can't do the full, keynote speaking, but we're all about actionable advice here.
Yes.
So I would love for you to share, because usually with great guests like yourself, people are listening and they're like, this sounds so great, but I don't know how to start. Like, what do I do? So how can someone who's like, yes, I'm bought in, I need to slow down, I need to, do my magic wand, whether they journal or however that is, to really take some time to think, what can these women do to really get focused on living their best selves in a very strategic way?
Yeah, I would say no matter what phase of your life that you're in, before you hit go, slow. Before you hit go, slow. Take a moment and decide at that day how you want to feel, right? How do I want to feel today? Today I want to feel confident. Today I want to be engaged. Today I want the feeling of, maybe strategically I want to have energy, or I want to be action oriented. So I would say that's one. Do not open your computer. Do not open your email, pick up your phone. Take a moment and say, okay, what do I want to feel today as I go throughout my day? Maybe I want to feel just making eye contact with my spouse. Like, trust me, sometimes I have to
We've
talk
all
to
had those days.
I'm like, I'll look
We've
at
all
your eyes.
had those days.
Wait, okay, I'll actually process what you're saying. Right? And then I do now believe in the power of journaling. And I fought it for many, many years. And what I do for the daily journaling, there's 6 journal prompts that are in my journal. I have timed it. It takes 4 minutes and 58 seconds. So I challenge my clients to either A, do it like I do, have their morning routine, or B, stick it on top of their computer at work if they're going somewhere, and do not start your day till you do that, because there is power in the science behind the journal entries. And the journal entries are so simple. You can write them right now, and then I'm going to give you a link where you can go get them. But the first one starts with, today I will let go of. Like, today I will let go of the argument that I had with my teenage daughter. Today I will let go of, the contract that I didn't sign. Today I will let go of the extra 10 pounds I gained over the holidays. Yeah. Valid. What is it? And maybe you're going to write the same let go statement. Maybe it's something from the past and you need to write the same statement every day. Because when we carry that around, it's weight, right? And then, of course, we know, and I'm sure your listeners know because they're intelligent and they're here because they're growth-minded, but today I will take in gratitude for. Like, what am I going to take in gratitude for? Like, I'm going to take in gratitude for this beautiful cup of coffee that I have that's so warm and cozy and makes me feel good, right? I'm taking in gratitude for this opportunity to spend time with you, Tina, and for I'm taking in gratitude for the podcast that you chose to do on your own, which I know is a ton of work, by the way, and you probably don't get paid for it, but you're taking in gratitude that you are taking the chance to put this out into the world in hopes that somebody hears something that changes their life to want to be a better person. And then today I will focus on, what am I focusing on? Am I focusing on making 10 extra sales calls, whatever it might be. And then our next 3 entries are, oh gosh, I'm on the spot. I have to pull it. Like I only coach to this. Sometimes I need to pull it all. I'm like, what are they? Today I get to. So I love the statement of I get to versus I have to, right? Like I get to go pick up another rotisserie chicken because I don't want to have cereal for dinner and I don't have time to make it. I don't know. Today
That's valid too.
Thank you, rotisserie chicken. I don't know.
Today I get to shovel 6 inches of snow. And the fresh air will do me good.
And then our last 2 statements are I am. So I am. We know that's like a mini way of kind of visualization, right? Today, you could be like, I am running a multi-million-dollar business that's being led by women, right? Empowering women to live their best for the love of life. That's kind of a future statement. So it could be a future statement. It could be a word. Today I'm confident. Today I'm bold. Today I am full of joy. And then the last one is to set your action. I will, right? Like I will call my mom. I will, schedule the mammogram, whatever it might be, right? And so that's it. Take those. And I always challenge people because I'm such a tester. A lot of what I do in my world is I like to test things. And so take it, test it, see if it has you feeling differently after you maybe do this for a month or 3 months, and just test it and see what happens in your world and what opportunities open up because you're taking 4 minutes and 58 seconds to actually not just walk through life in a fog, but having some purpose in it and having some joy and engagement. And that's what I would suggest. That's a very tactical that you can start today. And so you can go to Flow, F-L-O, which is for the love of, couldn't get the T, for love of, which is my company name. So F-L-O, self. If you go to flowself.com, you can download that free, all the journal entries and the explanation. So
we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
I love that because I will be completely transparent with you that I'm like, I don't journal. I don't even really like to write. So I was thinking, would I have to do that in the morning? But 4 minutes, I can do that. So I love the fact that you're like, you really don't have an excuse not to do this.
Yeah.
The other piece I love about that is there's 2 things that come to mind. It's the accountability piece to ourselves. No one else is holding us accountable. We're writing these things down to hold ourselves accountable. And then I think the second piece of it is that freedom. We keep talking about the freedom. So if we write down that we're going to do this, or we're going to be thankful for this, or I am this later on in the day when something butts up against what we, wrote down and promised ourselves at 6 a.m., it's giving us permission to say, no, I don't have to do that because I promised myself this morning X, Y, and Z. So I love like there's 2 sides of that, the accountability and then the permission again to say no to the things that keep coming into our lives that aren't aligned with, in this case, today's goal.
Right. And what, listeners may not realize, but 60, I think it is, you have 60,000 thoughts per day. Of those thoughts, 47,000 of them are negative. Like just process that for a moment. Like, even if you think about this, I think about, okay, you wake up, and the second you wake up, right? And I'm just like picturing, okay, I wake up and you're like, oh crap, I hit snooze 4 times. Gosh, I'm such a loser. I said I was going to get up early and I was going to work out, right? And then you go and you're like, man, these jeans don't fit. I knew I shouldn't have eaten, the extra,
Tiramisu. It was tiramisu last night for me. Should not have eaten that.
Right? But it just compiles. And the really cool part about your brain is you can change it, right? You can't necessarily control the first thought, but you can control the second thought. And so if your brain is naturally there to basically protect you, right, which it is, and say things that it believes are going to protect you, you can change the second thought. And part of that is the science behind the journaling and the science behind writing and how it connects the plasticity of your brain to be able to change. Unfortunately, it's a daily work that needs to be done, right? It's not like all of a sudden one day you're like, you're feeling really good. I went to a convention. I got inspired. Yay, I'm motivated, right? And you get back and you're like, hey, everything's going to change. And then 3 days later, you're back to the same old. It's because you need to work on it daily, right? It's just like, I need to drink water daily. I also need to drink coffee daily. Don't know if that's true. That's necessary, but
I did hear that it's healthy for you. I don't know if that was true or not. I'm not a coffee drinker, but someone's like, no, I heard there was studies. It's good for you. Like,
I find all the studies that work in my life.
Exactly.
Like
there's probably one study. Exactly. Wine a day. I like that too.
But, that's just, the science behind it. Mm-hmm. And what it could potentially do for you. And like I said, doesn't mean you have to. Like we talked about, we don't need to do the should-haves or whatever. But I'm always about like, can we try it? Like just try it and see what happens. And try it, as they say, on average, it takes 66 days to create a new habit. Every habit is different. Some may take 21 days, maybe some's 365. Just the studies show on average 66. So just try it for 66 days. Mm-hmm. See what happens.
Yes. I love that. So much good stuff here today. I think if we kind of put it in a little box or a little package, first we're giving them permission to really dream big. What is it that we really want, right? And you elaborate on that, please, because you said it so great before of really getting clear on their goals.
Yeah. Well, a couple of things. I will say your listeners are high performance. And so high performance living is the ongoing feeling of full engagement, joy, and confidence that comes from consistently living from your best self. And I have that written in front of me because I have to remind myself. And so it's really taking a moment, as we started with, right? And figuring out the clarity and slowing down and really living your best life. Nobody else is without comparison. We can all get up in that comparison trap. In order to feel, though, the engagement, we do have to slow down. In order to feel joy, happiness is a choice. And in order to feel joy, it's really understanding what gives you joy, right? And being okay with it. Like, I ain't going to be in the kitchen cooking Thanksgiving dinner. That does not give me joy, right? And then confidence, that comes from consistently living, consistently living as best as you can your best life. And so I would just challenge the listeners to be okay and be open-minded with listening and not judging on what your brain is telling you what you want or where you need help. Mm-hmm. And then figuring that out.
Yes. So many guests have been on this show that pivotal moments in their life, myself included, when you just go with your gut.
Yes.
Call it what your intuition, what your head is telling you, whatever. Trust it. It's usually right.
Yeah. And being willing to, step out of your comfort zone and not be afraid.
Mm-hmm. You're not growing unless you're uncomfortable.
That could be a whole other podcast. We could talk about fear, right? And what the science behind fear and how you work through, having no fear.
Yes. I am one of those people who do enjoy being uncomfortable for some odd reason. Like not in an anxiety moment, not in an anxiety way, because I avoid anxiety at all costs. Like, I don't do adrenaline either. But just that challenge of, this is totally out of my skill set or my knowledge base, but I'm going to push through. Like, I love that awkward learning something new stage. So.
I knew I loved you for a reason. I'm the same way. I really like to just I like to try things. I like to test things. Plus I like to then bring them back and be like, okay, guys, you're not going to believe what I tested. Like I tested going up and down 6 floors for 3 months. I live in a condo on the 6th floor. And so,
you did like, that instead of an elevator?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's like, let me tell you what happened, whatever.
Yeah.
And I like to prove them wrong, right? Even though they're right. Like even the whole journaling thing, I'm like, oh, come on. Like, really?
Yeah. See, I think you've encouraged me. I'm definitely going to grab one of your journals because it is not a natural thing for me to want to write anything.
Yeah.
I take notes on the computer. Like I have notes on my iPhone, that's where I do all of my quote unquote writing. So just buy a nice pen and get your journal, and I'm going to check back with you.
Do that, or start with the free download, and just like it gives you the prompts, and it's got the 3 sections. So it's actually, there's a weekly setup. That's all very tactical. That's about your big rocks in your life, and personally and professionally and relationally. The daily is to get your mindset right. And then there's an end of the week slowdown. I'll be honest, that one I have not mastered yet. But that's to allow yourself to have some reflection. Some people are really bad at recognizing their wins and what they've accomplished. And they tend to live in the gap versus the gain. Great book, by the way.
Great book. Right here on my shelf.
Yeah. And so that one is to force you as a high achiever to take a moment and recognize, especially as entrepreneurs. I mean, let's be honest. Our lists, we will never not have a list. I mean,
never.
Come on.
Yeah. Even preparing for my funeral, I'll have a list.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, everybody, here's the Google Doc.
Here's the Google Doc. I've got it all figured out.
Yeah. So I think that's the hardest part as a high achiever or an entrepreneur, is just like we feel like our job is never done, and it really never is done. But we also then don't take the time to recognize what we have accomplished. So.
Yes. And I
mean, think doing this podcast is an accomplishment in itself.
For both of us. I appreciate you. I think, another thing, as you were talking about your journal too, I was thinking, I could do that at the end of the week or at the end of the day, which is more my style, which again is where we need to recognize that everyone's different, because you're right. A lot of people have a hard time reflecting on what great happened in the day. I'm good at that. I'm not so great about setting up my day in the morning. So like, it's okay, right? It's not like, oh, you should write in the morning. I should, but some people are good at this. Some people are good at that. So
wow, we're the polar opposite on that, because I'm good at the daily setup. I'm horrible at the weekly reflection. Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just, as I talk out loud, I think it's maybe because then I can celebrate my wins, versus if you didn't say you were going to do something, it's not on the, it's not on the list of, I can just write down the things I did great at versus, but I skipped 7 other things I was supposed to do, so. I think bookending it would be the perfect match.
Yeah, I like
what I said I was going to do. Here's what I actually did, and I'm feeling accomplished for both. So
yeah, for sure. I love
so
that.
I think the magic wand, giving yourself permission to know that everyone's different, and just find the journey that works for them, for you listeners. And then
and you're never too old.
Never too old.
Never. Well, I don't know what ages are listening, but I'm just telling you right here, as a soon to be, I think I'll be 52. I don't know what happens when you're over 50. It's kind of like being married. Once you get over 25 years, you're like, I don't know how long it's been.
Well, that's because 50 was so amazing. Like, we just stopped counting after that, because we're in heaven. It's fine. I mean, like, in the good, the living heaven of like, life is amazing when your kids are grown-ish.
Adulting,
semi-adulting, exactly. Yep. It's awesome. Any final last words for our listeners, Kim?
Just be you, be amazing, and you've been put on this earth for a reason. And so go find your Ikigai, and feel free to, you can find me under everything Kim Rogne, KimRogne, on Instagram, kimrogne.com. Go to flow, self.com, self.com. Get your free downloadable and be amazing.
Be amazing. Thank you very much, Kim. It's been wonderful.
Thanks, Tina.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. The Women Choosing Growth Show is not just another podcast. It's a tribe of women helping each other grow. So please, share this podcast with all the women entrepreneurs that you would love to see succeed. If you'd like to know more about customized business advising through Cultivate Advisors, download business tools, or sign up for upcoming events, visit www.womenchoosinggrowth.com. Once again, that's www.womenchoosinggrowth.com. Remember, we are in this together. See you on the next one.